remember the group called City High? In the early 2000s, they were everywhere. They had that massive hit song, What Would You Do?, a record that stayed on the radio non-stop and earned them a Grammy nomination. That song became an anthem, and then there was Caramel, another fan favorite. At one point, City High looked unstoppable. The group was made up of Robbie Parlo, Ryan Toby, and Claudette Ortiz, and they were signed under Wyclef Jean from the legendary Fugees. Wyclef believed they could be the next big thing, a singing version of the Fugees, and for a moment, it really felt like that dream was coming true. Robbie Parlo was born on August 13, 1978, in Willingboro, New Jersey. He was the youngest of two children, and his older brother, Gregory Parlo, would later become a Pulitzer Prize-winning poet and professor. Growing up, Robbie loved music, especially soul, and he was deeply inspired by his mother. But at the same time, he was a troubled kid. He constantly got into trouble at school and struggled with his behavior. His mother adored him and believed he could do no wrong, but she knew he had a special musical gift, so she focused heavily on helping him turn music into a career. As Robbie grew older, music kept pulling him deeper in. Through William Hart of the legendary group The Delphonics, Robbie became connected to a circle that included Claudette Ortiz. William Hart's daughter was friends with Claudette, and that's how Robbie and Claudette first met. By the time they reached high school, the two started dating. Claudette was only 16 and Robbie was 18. Even then, people around her warned her about Robbie's reputation. He was known for drinking heavily, smoking weed regularly, and getting so drunk that he would sometimes pass out. Claudette later admitted that the relationship was chaotic from the very beginning. She saw the warning signs, but she stayed because she was also a singer with dreams of making it in the music industry. After high school, Robbie went to college in Philadelphia, and that's when things really started to change. He met someone connected to Sony Records, and suddenly major executives were interested in him. Sylvia Rhone wanted to sign him to Atlantic Records. Queen Latifah and her team wanted him for Flavor Unit. Even Mariah Carey showed interest and wanted him on her label, Crave Records. But then, Wyclef Jean and his cousin, Jerry Wonder Duplessis, saw Robbie perform in New York. They were impressed and wanted him to sign with their new label, Booga Basement, and Robbie agreed. With a record deal in hand, Robbie started working on his debut album. During this time, Ryan Toby was brought in to help with writing. Ryan was already a known name. He had appeared in Sister Act 2 and worked on Will Smith's album, Willie Billy Style. Robbie and Ryan also knew each other from school choir, though Ryan was a little older. Ryan also had a connection to Wyclef, and when Wyclef saw him in the studio one day, he immediately recognized him from Sister Act 2 and asked him to jump in the booth. Around that same time, Robbie also played on the production for Whitney Houston's hit song, My Love Is Your Love. Once Robbie and Ryan started working together, Wyclef had a bigger vision. He wanted them to become a group. That's when the name City High was born. While recording the song What Would You Do?, Claudette was added to the hook because she was always around the studio as Robbie's girlfriend. The song was based on a real story about a girl they all knew back in high school. When Wyclef heard it, he knew it was special, and he officially made Claudette a member of the group. On May 22, 2001, City High released their self-titled debut album, which would also become their only album. The project was a success, reaching the top 30 on the Billboard R&B and hip-hop charts, breaking into the Billboard 200 and eventually going gold. What Would You Do exploded worldwide, hitting #1 on multiple international charts, reaching the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 and earning a Grammy nomination. That song became an anthem, and then there was Caramel, another fan favorite. At one point, City High looked unstoppable. The group was already falling apart behind the scenes. Robbie's drinking had spiraled out of control. Claudette later said it was rare to see him sober during recording sessions. Management encouraged her to stay with him and keep the group together, but touring and working under those conditions became unbearable. Arguments were constant, the energy was dark, and the chemistry was slowly dying. The breaking point came when Robbie claimed he walked into a hotel room in San Antonio and found Claudette and Ryan together. According to him, that moment ended everything. Claudette told a very different story. She said Robbie and Claudette had been broken up long before anything happened between her and Ryan. She described Robbie as abusive, aggressive, and unfaithful, saying fame only made his behavior worse. Ryan Toby also spoke out, saying Robbie was out of control. drinking every day, missing studio sessions, and constantly disrespecting both of them. He said he often had to take care of Claudette when Robbie left her stranded, and over time, they developed feelings for each other. After that, the group tried to record a second album, but the tension was too heavy. Meetings were held and money was discussed, but Claudette was done. She wanted out, and City High officially came to an end. Claudette and Ryan later got married and had children, while Robbie was left to deal with the aftermath alone. After the group's breakup, Robbie's life took a dark turn. His drinking turned into heavier drug use, and his depression deepened. In 2010, he appeared on A&E's Intervention, where he opened up about his addiction, his anger, and his pain. The episode became the highest rated in the show's history and even won an Emmy. Robbie went to rehab and tried to live a sober life, but he relapsed several times. His marriage ended in divorce, he was arrested for multiple DUIs, and his career never recovered. At one point, he was working a regular warehouse job and even started a GoFundMe after claiming his studio equipment had been stolen. On July 17, 2025, Robbie Parlo passed away in Willingboro, New Jersey from heart failure. He was only 46 years old. Just days earlier, he had been hospitalized due to health complications. His brother, Gregory Parlo, later said that despite Robbie's tough image, tattoos, and street persona, he would always remember his little brother as a sweet, goofy kid. He also revealed that Robbie had once been trained by the legendary Teddy Pendergrass. City High was a group with real potential. Robbie Parlo was a gifted musician whose talent was undeniable. But his story is a reminder that fame doesn't fix personal demons. Sometimes it only makes them louder. Rest in peace, Robbie Parlo.